Report about what I know is going on in Maui. Hello again, thank you for being here with me once more. I hope you are all doing very well. I am Marie Swaru. I must say that I will no longer be using the word woke to refer to intelligent people in the know, and who are conscious of everything that is going on, because that word is now being used and abused by mainstream communities and their agendas I do not agree with. The word is now loaded, and if you find it in my previous videos, it has nothing to do with the meaning the media is imposing on it now. As in, woke people, for example. Before I go on, I must also say that I may need to be indirect in some things because of the nature of the information I will be sharing with you today. I may not use the correct words or terms because of censorship and because of YouTube rules I do not wish to break, and please bear in mind that I also have the Federation directly looking at everything I do and say, therefore I'm double censored, but I will write everything in the best way possible so it can be understandable. Thank you for your support. Examples of these are the following. Two Towers, false banner, the man who loves closed doors, 10 20 30, half of a half our cities, I know you get my drift, and the context also helps. This information was mainly provided by the Tagetan Information Recompilation Center, also known as CIC. And some of the conclusions were made by studying metadata, contrasting it with what is known, but most of the information here comes from Tagetan drones known as 110s, still over Maui now, and from the direct flight over the area of two manned, fighter-class starships belonging to this crew, who flew a reconnaissance mission. Thank you Azrael for flying the Black Cat, and thank you Salafile for flying the Super Ghost. As a note, the names of the ships are translated as best possible and are humanized. Now the report. Flat out, what is going on in Maui is a false banner of huge proportions, one of the biggest yet, probably bigger than the Two Towers, in destructivity and cruelty, no getting around that. What the mainstream media is saying is nothing but horse shit. It is not a natural disaster. The fires were artificially started using two types of drones, the standard large propeller-driven flamethrower drone many people have seen over areas like the Amazon, California, Australia, and Spain. They were detected to fly out of high-value residential areas right there on the same island, specifically from the backyard of a well-known villain who loves closed doors, if you know whom I mean, and who also had a direct hand in the last false banner operation regarding the world bug, but not only. These drones go around with a flamethrower starting fires wherever they are pointed at, and are basically low-technology devices. The second type of drone is of high technology, and it is beyond the understanding of most of the human population. They are devices equipped with energy weapons and are designed to start fires where the normal flamethrower drones cannot, for example, to destroy a complex structure like a house or a building. They are stealthy and fast, and were detected to come out of Navy ships off the coast, from where energy weapon pulses were also detected to have come from, directly aimed at structures in the coastline. This is a deliberate attack against the people of Hawaii and humanity, and it is meant to further their programmed agendas for the year 10-20-30, which include the imposition of half of a half our cities, that are nothing other than sugar-coated prison camps. There are at least thousands of deaths on the island, not the few that are being reported, and a lot of media is also saying that thousands are too much and it is falling into alarmism, but it is nothing other than the bare truth. People who were trying to move towards safe areas were intercepted by law enforcement forces on land and by Coast Guard in the sea, forcing them back to where they came from at gunpoint, only to face death there. And thousands of people are trapped in spots all over the island, surrounded by fire. And there are several witness accounts of human and animal bodies floating in the sea and washing up on the shore. Civilian boats of all kinds and sizes, coming from other Hawaiian islands, attempted to help the people of Maui but were stopped and forced away also at gunpoint by law enforcement and by Coast Guard units, alleging it is to maintain order and to prevent pillage. FEMA was already in place there when the fires started, but they were not there to help them but to stop them from escaping from the compromised areas, so they had to know this before it happened. On the island, several ships arrived with humanitarian aid, food and water, but again law enforcement does not let the civilian population access the aid, again alleging it is to keep the order, but no aid is being received in the few refugee camps which are full of thousands and thousands of people, who have not had any food and water in days. Furthermore, 110 centimeters drones have detected that at least several of those ships with humanitarian aid set for sea shortly after, where they were criminally instructed to dump their precious cargo overboard. The fires are not natural and they act in a selective manner, where they tend to destroy entire middle and low-class housing and residential areas, but tend to leave alone billionaire houses and mansions, as well as entire areas reserved for high-class people and so-called elite, and the famous. Same way, the fires destroy houses, including the ones with strong non-inflammable structures, while they leave alone highly inflammatory palm trees and normal trees. The fires are illogically highly selective, as they target houses and vehicles specifically. Other important targeted areas include museums and libraries containing all the history of Maui, as well as countless precious relics, all destroyed. This is a clear attempt to erase the cultural history of Maui as well as the general infrastructure of the island to force a reconstruction with the specifications of the half-hour cities they want to impose onto the population. There are plans and blueprints to reconstruct the cities there, and there are reports that indicate that those plans were set in place before the fires even started. And there is also a report of a book being sold on Amazon about these fires when it is way too soon for anything to be written and published. It was too fast, and I also know this because I am a very fast writer, and even I would see it very difficult to write and publish all that. So it is quite safe to conclude that it was written at least mostly before the fires, and the subject covered in that book is not only about the fires, it also pushes the idea of how those fires supposedly will worsen climate change. All this is very shady and highly suspicious. Since years ago, the local islanders have been pressured by companies and investors to sell their properties, and for years they have refused the offers. But now very shortly after the fires, those companies are offering to buy their properties again but at an incredibly low price. The government is confiscating properties from their original owners, using safety concerns as an excuse to later sell them to those other investors. This has all the telltale indicators that this is not a real flag event, if you know what I mean. And only observing the characteristics, it was clearly perpetuated by the same evil group who has been doing this all over the globe. It is the work of the evil cabal, and it is also heavily connected to the sacrifices they offer their dark egregore entities they worship. The devastation of nature is immense, and simply horrific, as well as the suffering of not only the human population but of the countless pets and wild animals and plants as well. It is a complete reset, destruction to reconstruct with evil specifications, to control and to repress the human population. It is a horrible and cruel attack against the people and nature of Maui, as well as against all humankind. And it is a perfect example of the permissive cruelty of the Galactic Federation, which does nothing about these events they clearly knew beforehand would occur, and that has little to nothing to do with the will of souls to have a learning experience, and a lot more to do with feeding the lower astral negative egregores, demons, and devils, the cabal who controls earth worship. I'm sending all my love to the people and to the animals of Hawaii, Maui. Thank you for watching my video, and for liking and subscribing for more. I appreciate it a lot. And I hope to see you here next time. Be very well and take care. With much love. Your friend, Marie Swaru.